proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast, Season 2, Episode 27. Connor, we're here to talk rallying once again.
We are indeed, Kevin, and another busy week, another busy show.
Yeah, for sure. Before we start, can you please like, share, rate, subscribe, all those things make a huge difference. And if you want to contact us, drop us a wee message on social media, just insert Krunching Gears, you'll find us, or email crunchinggears@yahoo.com. Before we go any further, Connor, we've been overwhelmed by the response to the Vincent Bonner conversation, haven't we? It's been mind-blowing, it really has. Just want to thank everybody out there. We've heard from the guy that flew over in the plane to fix Vincent's car in 1975. There was a lady left a lovely comment on her YouTube channel that her husband flew the plane. There was somebody else then messaged then to say that they were in Donegal in '83 when Vincent won the rally, and the way that brought back all those memories. And just people, just generally, some lovely messages, and it's really appreciated. And we passed all that on to John and Vincent as well too. So thank you very much for all your kind wishes and kind words, Connor. It has been mind-blowing.
It has. It's been incredible. Like for us, it was a fantastic night. It was a chance for us to speak with our hero and hear the stories from Vincent and his friends and family, and to be able to share that, to capture it and to share it, and for everybody else to get a flavor of it. And the comments have just been incredible. Not only has it given us a bit of joy, but it seems to have spread a bit of joy, amongst rally fans. Our heroes are important to us, and it's lovely to hear those stories from them.
For sure. Back to last weekend then, Lakeland Stages on just up outside Enniskillen there, phenomenal rally. I catch up with Patrick O'Brien and Ryan Caldwell there in a couple of minutes, and that's what they're saying. The pace in the Forestry at the minute is equal, if not better, than the tarmac. There's 7-8 guys there, and they battling over fractions of a second. It's been epic. The two MI Rally Academy guys as well. What a performance they put in. Patrick taking the one from first in the road, like he said, was difficult the first loop, having to clean the stages and all that. And it's got to that stage now. We always used to hear about this in the WRC, running first in the road. It would put them at a disadvantage, and that's the level that rallying at home's got to now too. That that kind of thing's been picked up. That you can't even afford that anymore, Connor. It's bonkers, really, isn't it?
Oh, it is. You go back 10, 15, 20 years, it was minutes between them, and sometimes in the stages even at home. But now you're right, it's down to tenths of a second, and every tenth of a second counts now. So that bit of a delay or slowness from not having lines in the road is making a difference.
For sure. And again, we keep banging the drum about MI Rally Academy. Patrick, put all his experience in this year competing in the couple of rounds of the ERC and a round of the WRC, and then young Ryan Caldwell as well too. We keep forgetting how young that Ryan is. He's still only finding his feet. His first year in an R5 Fabia, leading the Irish Forestry Championship. First time doing the Lakeland Stages to go. First car. The how would you put it? Class 10 car. Properly. Rate restricted on it. Fourth overall, brilliant result, and fingers crossed things are looking well for him in the championship. I think he's another very capable young driver coming up through the ranks.
Absolutely is. And again, the commitment that's gone in here, it's not just the guys preparing their cars and turning up, guys and girls turning up on the day and rallying, but the development work that the MI Academy doing, the Ryan and Patrick and the rest are, they're giving up their Saturdays, their Sundays, weeknights, etc. And they're working at the same time. There's a heck of a commitment going in here to their love of the sport.
For sure. I spoke to the two guys last night. Patrick was still working with the two cars, you know, to get them ready for the bushwhacker now in a couple of weeks. Ryan was still out in the quarry, you know, getting, you know, and you know, I spoke to him after 9 o'clock, and he wasn't quite finished. He had a couple of wee jobs to do. Like this is the, you know, this is the level that these guys are at. They're working day and night so they can go out and enjoy their hobby, and that, you know, that speaks volume. You know, we always hear about the young guys, you know, they're not putting the effort in, they're not putting the work in. These guys do. Really,
Absolutely, yeah. At every turn, they are, you know, be it their home life, their work life, and their rallying.
for sure, for sure. You know, and we catch up with the two guys, and then following in from that, then Declan Casey. Declan was sitting with Hugh McQuaid in Black Magic, you know, the Mark II, and that's starting to really come hit the sweet spot now at the minute. Like Hugh has, you know, has really developed that car over this year, and it's really, really coming good. And you know, Declan will, you know, he talks about it. I think there were stages, there was 3 or 4 of them, and it split by a second and a second and a half, 2 seconds. They took the one by 2 seconds at the end. Like after 6 stages, 2 seconds. Like it's fantastic racing, really. You know, and that's not just, you know, overall or the two-wheel drives. That's trickling right down through the whole event in every class.
It is absolutely, you know, you know, like we've said it so many times in so many championships, but it's quality battles right throughout, you know, the field of competitors. It really is, and every class they're out there, they're fighting, you know, from the top end right through to the juniors.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So anyway, without further ado, I think we'll catch up with Patrick and Ryan, and then that will go on to Declan Casey. Patrick, phenomenal result. It was some days racing last Saturday.
In fairness, yeah, it was a brilliant day's racing. The boys were all going very hard, so yeah, it wasn't an easy one.
Yeah, it keeps you sharp whenever, you know, the pace is so high here as well. It's not an easy run by no manner of means.
Oh, exactly. I knew even going to the event, it wasn't going to be a walk in the park. It's probably as quick as the tarmac, I believe, in Ireland, the boys in gravel. So yeah, no, it wasn't going to be easy.
Yeah, the guy that, you know, there is what 6, 7 guys all going there thinking, you know, I'm winning with a chance here, winning this, and like that's everybody's game. You know, I spoke to Jason Mitchell last week, and he's just reveling in that. You know, everybody's game's getting lifted, and it's pushing everybody on.
Exactly. Like it's one wrong move, and the guys have a second to do, so everything has to be to perfection. Gear changes, everything. So it worked out well for us, thankfully, and even being first on the road, it was quite slippery, so we had to manage that. But then once we got it cleaned up, then it was time to go.
Yeah, and like, do you find that, like, you know, because now, you know, a few events now you've been running number 1 on the road, like that is a concern. You're cleaning the road. You're finding the breaking points and, you know, the bad bits as well too, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah, it's probably just giving away everything. Any cut or any lane you take at all, you give it away, and all they really have to do is match that then, and they're every bit as quick as you. But once it cleans up, then it's sort of even footing for everyone then, and it sort of shows then if you can push on.
For sure, for sure. And Ryan, for yourself, like, you know, you come away 4th at the weekend, but like more importantly for you, it was maximum points in the championship, and you were running the smaller restrictor. So, you know, 4th was a fantastic result, really, when you look into it.
Aye, we were happy. Hey, if we 4th overall, so we were definitely. We went for the championship points, and that's we aimed for them, so we got them. We're happy with that.
Yeah, and like, you know, do you feel your pace is getting pushed on now? You know, competing against these guys, and you know, seeing, you know, as Patrick says, the lines, the breaking points that these guys is picking on then too. You're gaining experience from that as well.
Aye, that's right. Yeah, definitely. We're on 3rd in the road in the Lakelands, and it was slippery for us. Never mind Patrick. So I don't know how bad it was in 1st in the road, but no, it was a great event for us.
Yeah, and like, you know, you're still quite young here. Like that's only what you're probably your 2nd or 3rd time doing the Lakeland, and like, you know, doing a 10-mile Forestry stage there, like, you know, Ballintempo, probably regarded as one of the, you know, a real good cracker of a stage. 10 miles in the forest must be epic.
That's my first time doing the Lakelands. Hey, so it isn't. To be quite honest, I didn't know where I was going, but now I put a bit of notes, work on the notes, and no, it worked good for us, definitely. So it did, and we enjoyed it. Hey, it was a brilliant rally. So it was.
Yeah, so you had full trust and faith in Arthur, whatever he called, you drove.
Whatever he called, we drove us right.
And like Patrick, you know, like the 10 or whatever miles of Ballintempo, like especially in the north, to get a Forestry stage that long is something else. Like, you know, a lot of events have great stages, but maybe only 4 or 5 mile long. Something twice that must be great to get your teeth into that like that.
It was fantastic for sure. Probably the first stage with being out foreign this year, mostly when the first stage was over, I kind of looked at Stephen and thought, "Is that it? We need to go longer than that." Like, so, the 10 mile one was quite good. It was something we were kind of used to now, so it was fantastic. It was brilliant stages at the weekend, and they held up really well too.
Yeah, and like, you know, you talked about, you know, your foreign experience. You know, are you using that now coming here? You know, like, do you feel the benefit of doing, you know, the ERC and the WRC round? You know, like, is that you know, has that pushed you on as well as all the other crews here?
Without a doubt, it has, like, the knowledge that we have, even the lines to take, and working with engineers and stuff over there, and yeah, without a doubt, it's helped with myself, and not only myself, we can also help Brian along with that too. So it's been a really good help.
Yeah, and like, you know, like the difference that the restrictor makes in the car. You know, the performance he's putting in, the pace and the speed he's carrying. You know, for such a young guy, and like, I didn't even realise it was only his first time doing the Lakeland. Like, this guy's going places.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't put the 34 in for him. Put me under pressure. Right?
I give yourself there.
No, definitely, like the speed that they're doing in the Irish Forestry Championship is really opened my eyes, like, and seeing Ryan's data from the logging of the car and the in-car, like, he's doing everything right, and it's just getting quicker every event.
Yeah, and like, Ryan, like, you have really took to the Skoda so well this year. You know, Donegal, and I know you were very sore on yourself after Donegal, but like, for your first time in there, you know, the Skoda on tar, like, the times were every stage, you know, was getting better and better and better. It was such a weekend of progression. Like, you could have went out there and put it off on the first day and not get any experience, but you kept the head down. You kept building the pace over the weekend. I think that was a very accomplished drive.
It was a lot of learning. Hey, Donegal, so it was, in fairness. First day in tarmac in the car, and everything was, there's so much more grip. So it wasn't. No, it was definitely a good rally for learning. So it was, and hey, like the lads, Patrick and Kevin, Stephen and Brian, they kept me right, like, the whole way through. So
Yeah, and I believe you got the tarmac suspension and all the data from Patrick, and you were very reluctant to give it back, I think, at the finish, were you?
I actually think I was
You got
wrong.
the whole you got the whole damper and everything. You took the dampers off me. Yeah,
But
they're going at good money.
but isn't that the great thing about rallying? Like, there's no secrets. There's no, you know, everything's shared. You know, Patrick was prepared to do that for you, to allow you to, you know, to show your pace as well.
That's right. He knows all about the car, so all I have to do is drive it.
And you know, what's coming up now in 2 weeks, the Bushwhacker, the Oma Grand Prix, you know, it's the Donegal of gravel in Ireland. Patrick, you've won it twice. Be nice to get the name and the trophy for a third time.
Exactly. I haven't even got it on at the minute. Actually, I must get it sent away and give my name on it. I haven't put it on yet, so maybe I could hold out and hopefully we could get it again. But we'll see. The competition is going to be big, like, with Gahan and Jason. It's not going to be easy, but we'll give it a go.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And Ryan, like, it's going to be, you know, the home event for yourself as well too. And like, this was the event that, you know, you were taken to as a young guy, and you know, the Forestry. You hear, you know, the stories, the mysteries of, like, to be going there in a car that's going to, you know, do everything that you wanted to do and more. That must be something that you're really looking forward to.
Hi, I went to the Bushwhacker many years ago to watch my father rallying, and that's where we got the bug. And that was actually my first rally 2 years ago in the Opel Adam, the wee R2 car. I've done the Bushwhacker now twice. I've done it in the Opel, and then I've done it in the wee Rally 4 Fiesta. So Skoda will be next. No, I'm looking forward to it, definitely. They're great stages there, like, and I think they're actually been joint this year, so a wee bit longer it'll make it more interesting.
That's for sure. And then, you know, as well, you know, Oma Motor Club always looking to do something different. The night stages and all as well too. Like, I don't know, Ryan, do you eat a lot of carrots now in the next couple of weeks, hoping that it improves the eyesight at night? What way do you approach it?
Patrick looking for the sun. He's hoping for sunshine, so the dust is there, but I'm hoping for a bit of rain.
You're out doing the rain dance.
Hard not to get it out as well.
But does rallying at night, is it something you've done before, or is it something you're looking forward to, or?
I know we've done it twice. We've done it in the Rally 4 and the Opal. No, I like it actually. It does make it more interesting, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And like Patrick, from your point of view, like in the forestry at night, like different. Maybe you can down a stage, you have telegraph poles, road signs, and all to kind of judge where you're at in road position. But down at forestry, it'll be dark.
Exactly, and not alone that with the forestry, with the damper, you have a lot of movement in the car as well. So with tarmac, you don't really have that. It's pretty nice. You can just see out the window, no problem. But when you hit the brake pedal, all you see is gravel, and when you hit the throttle, all you see is the tops of the trees. Like, so, it's hard to get that right, And plus, too, you're going quite sideways as well in the forest compared to tar, so you've no lights on the sides of her, so you don't know what you're going to touch. But it's really good. I've done it before, so it's really good.
Yeah, and like, will that, it will be full concentration on what Stephen's telling you and have the lights set properly. It's again all those small things that will probably be able to make the difference at the end of it.
Exactly. There's no, at the speed the boys are going, there's no one who's going to get huge gains. It's just tenths, and hopefully we can add up all the tenths and be leading it by come Saturday morning. It would be nice, but we'll see.
Yeah, because like there's going to be fights within, battles within battles, because you said there the way this whole Irish forestry has come on so well, like the two-wheel drive, the smaller classes, everybody's going to be fighting for that tenth of a second, or that slide wide in the corner. You've lost you've lost maybe 2-3 places. It is brilliant to see.
It's true, the whole field. Like, I was just actually watching the video the other day of your fellow Jack McKenna and the Honda. Like, the speed he's doing that Honda, it's mad, just down through the whole field, and the Mark II Eskers as well. So it's just really good for gravel rallying, and I think it's going to be really good to watch too for the spectators.
Yeah, for sure. And like Ryan, for yourself, like the one that you want to watch your father on and all that, then too. Like, your dad's hoping to be out and doing the bushwork as well. It's a great family occasion then too. Father and son going out as well.
Aye, that's it, right? Aye, he's doing it as well. So he is. So now it'll be a good weekend for us all, and especially Patrick out, me out, and my father out. 3 of us in one team. So now it'll be plenty of fun. So.
And who buys the pints? Is it the loser buys the pints, or what's the?
I could say Eden will be buying the pints.
So, like, I suppose, like, from looking at from the Oma Motor Club, if anybody out there has any notion of wanting to do one of the best gravel rallies in Ireland, get onto Rally Score, get your entries in.
Most certainly.
Yeah, and Patrick,
brilliant.
The more the merrier. Like, you want everybody there. You want the best of the best. You want to prove yourself against whoever can come.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, whoever can be there, come. It'll be a fantastic rally, and like 2 days of it, you can't get any better. Like in Ireland, so get the entries in.
Declan Casey, yourself and Hugh McQuaid come away with the two-wheel drive honours in the Lakeland Stages there at the weekend. Black Magic is really starting to come together and all going well, isn't it?
Yeah, it just goes to show, Kevin, seat time means everything, and Hugh there now is after doing a few events back to back over a couple of weekends, and it's really showing dividends in his times. And of course he'd know the Lakelands a bit better as well than he would Cork or Tipperary Forest, which were the other two that he'd done previous this year. And he was on it from the word go, in fairness to him. And he kept fairly consistent times in the top 3 all weekend, and thankfully we came out the good end of it and won the two-wheel drive by about 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was a real strong entry in the two-wheel drive, because you had Hallerington, there was the who's who of two-wheel drive rally in the forest.
Yeah.
It really was. It wasn't a soft one by any manner of means. Like, it was anybody you'd want to beat in Ireland was there at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You had Donald Sweeney was very prominent early on until he had a gearbox issue. You had Hugh McQuaid was my man. You had Shane McGear, you had Adrian Hetherington, and you had Mickey Conlon, and there was a couple of other fellas sticking their head into the top 5 or 6 as well during the day. It was a really, really tough battle. I just jotted down a few times there in stage 1. Sweeney, McQuaid, and McGirr were separated by less than a second, I think. When you went into the long stage then, which was the 10 miler, Sweeney just took off, and he was, I think, 12. He was 7 faster than Paddy McToll. Paddy was second in the end. Paddy McToll was 7 behind Sweeney, and Shane McGirr was another 5 behind that again. We were well back on that one because there was a car after going off, and the marshal was giving us the old stage cancelled sign, and we nearly came to a standstill, and we probably shouldn't have really, but the road was fine after, and we drove on. Stage 3, McToll fastest, McQuaid and McGirr again all in the same second. Stage 4, McGirr, Conlon, Hetherington, and McQuaid all split between a second and a half. Then McGirr had trouble, so he disappeared from the top, and you had Conlon, McQuaid, McToll, and Hetherington again all within a second and a half. That's the 10-mile stage, the long one.
Yes.
And then the last stage, we were a second up on Paddy McToll going to the last stage, so it was a kind of a do or die job. And Adrian was fastest on the last one, about 3 seconds up on Conlon. McQuaid was 4:11 and McToll was 4:12. So we came out with 2 seconds in the good at the finish, but the battle all day was fantastic. There was nothing in it. Like, the times were very, very close all day long.
And a Forestry Rally, 2 seconds is like, a span of the wheels, really, isn't it?
But tis just a wrong line in a corner or a missed gear change. Like, 2 seconds is nothing over a whole day's rallying, as you know. Yeah. Very
it must
very
be so
enjoyable.
rewarding to be, like, you have to be at the top of your game, Q has to be at the top of his game. Everyone has to work perfectly to gain that 2 seconds, because it would be
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
easy to lose 10, never mind gain 2.
Yeah, you just need to be very, very neat, like, and you need to, like, a mistake will be punished heavily when things are that close, But we did put in a bit of effort in preparation, the videos and stuff, and we did give a run through it the night before, and you kind of have to, like, at that level, to be competitive, I'd be used to doing that with Michael McDade. We'd always do a good prep before an event, especially if we're going to the UK or going to Wales. You kind of have to, because otherwise we're going to be left standing. The rest of the guys would know the stages better than we would, so we have to try and put in a bit of homework to try and keep up with them.
Yeah, and we should give a big shout out to Paddy McToll and Connor alone. Like, they were fast back in the Pinto days. They've had a few teething problems now with the new car, the Honda engine, but it's all started to come good. And as you said, the times they consistently fast all weekend, and to be
consistently fast all weekend, and was only 2 seconds off the win in the finish, which was fantastic. For a fella that's not out that often. And he's going to be there again now for the Bushwhacker. So it'll be battle on again.
That's for sure.
And I'm sure Mickey and Adrian will be back to get back on the top step as well. They'll be mad to get out.
And Shane McGirr, and there's probably two, and Donald Sweeney, all them guys will all be back.
Oh, Sweeney'll probably be back as well, yeah. And I mean, like, he was untouchable on the long stage the first time over it, No, I know that some of us got interrupted by a couple of cars that were gone off, but I mean, he was well up the road, So fair play to Donald.
Yeah, and Donald, another man too. Like, it seems to have hit the sweet spot with this crawler. Fast on either gravel or tar, he can just seem to go in there. Like in the tar, he was up there matching the 2.5 guys in the down rally there recently as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And he had a new co-driver with him last weekend as well, Oisin Joyce. I was talking to him afterwards, and he was very impressed with Donald, and he was looking forward to trying to get into that seat again. I think he said it was his first time at that level in the forest, and he said it was just fantastic stuff altogether. But a lot of fellas will tell you that, like, when they come off the tar, that you go into the forest and it's kind of a different kind of rallying in such a way, because you spend most of the day sideways looking out the window. But even the pace of the notes and everything, and the fact that you can't see where you're going most of the time, it's a different challenge, and some fellas tend to like it, like, and they'll like it more than the tar eventually.
Yeah, because it's probably a whole different assault in your senses. Like all the stones never battering off the floor of the car, and
Absolutely, yeah,
the
yeah.
trees closer in on you and everything. Like as you say, it's completely different.
Yeah, there was a couple of huge jumps there now Saturday, and I thought there was stuff coming into the car. It was hopping off the floor so hard, and the man on my right hand side, there was no lift going on there. Like, and I was thinking, is the bottom even going to be there when we get to the end? Do you know, it was just, and it's such a beautiful car,
Yes.
and you're saying, Jesus, the hopping off the floor. There was one big jump in particular. It was a kind of a hidden jump, and I was busy enough doing my job, and the next thing there was a bang. And I was kind of going, are we still here? Are we still here? But yeah, fantastic fun.
Yeah, and all credit to the club. The whole day run without a hitch. Every
Yeah,
stage run on time. But the weather conditions perfect, and the stages seem to hold up really well as well.
yeah, everything ran on time. It was actually, for me, it was a very quick day because we didn't start until, I think our start time was 11 o'clock, and we were back into the finish ramp at 3:30, 4:45, which is very, very, the whole day went very quick. Everything ran like clockwork, like you said. The stages did hold up very well. Yeah, there was not, you couldn't say they were rough. They were very bumpy. There was a lot of gravel in the first pass, but they were by no means rough. Um, and the speed that the lads were carrying was ferocious. Like, it was actually the outside footage. You don't really take a whole pile of notice of it when you're doing it, but the outside footage, you really kind of go, Jesus, were we going that fast? Like,
Yeah, I do believe that the whole Forestry has really taken a real step forward in the last couple of months. Like the two-wheel drive, the four-wheel drive. There's just
yep.
that wee bit more competitiveness in it, and it is now. Every second counts really, again, as you said, like 2 seconds every the top
Yeah,
two.
like even in every class and in every category, like the four-wheel drives are on a crazy pace altogether. I mean, even the last stage, was it in Cork? There was it 2 or 3 cars were after beating the bogey. Like, and we were. I even said it that day to Andy on the camera. Like, I said, "Geez, that's one of the fastest stages I've ever done on the Forest." And then when you look at the times after, and you see the four-wheel drive boys are going about 40 seconds faster again.
Yes.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Fair play. I might take my head off them. But fair play. The speed at the four-wheel drive level is ferocious altogether.
Yeah, for sure. And then, in the next couple of weeks, then we have the Oma Grand Prix coming up as well. That is, as far as gravel's concerned in Ireland, that's their Donegal. And
Yes.
no doubt that there'll be another ferocious entry for it again. And yourself and Hughes back in the state again.
Yeah, the plan is to go to the Bushwhacker and see how things pan out. We just got the points update there now today, and Paul, that sits with Mickey Conlon, is actually 4th overall in the Forestry Championship, and I'm 5th in the co-driver side of it. And then in the driver side of it, Mickey would be up to about 4th now as well, and Hugh is up to 5th overall. Because a lot of the four-wheel drive cars that were in the Lakelands were not actually registered for the championship.
Yes.
So it's still battle on for that. Class-wise, I think Mickey is kind of on his own in the class. Mickey and Paul, and myself and Hugh. In class 13, we have Diarmid Lynch and Shane McGarr, of course. Shane's after a bit of bad luck there now over the last round or two with suspensions and stuff. He was switching out, so hopefully he'll have that sorted for the Bushwhacker too, and we'll have a good long race for the championship points again. It's a good old crack.
Yeah, because like the Bushwhacker this year is using the night stages. Nice to see things like that and mixing it up a wee bit. It's always good to see new initiatives and new things being tried.
Yeah, we went to, myself and MacDade went to the track rod last year, and if you were doing the British Historic Championship, you got was it 1 or 2 night stages the night before? No, we weren't actually doing that side of it this year. We were in the Pirelli Championship, which was just the day after. So we actually got the chance to go out into the woods to see the British Historic cars, and the sound and the light and everything was absolutely glorious. And there was a huge crowd there, very well organised and all that, and it was a great spectacle at night. The sound of the BDAs through the forest is just, you could bottle it and take it home with you, but when you're in it, you don't get to experience that so often, so it was nice for us to be able to do that last year. That was the track rod, which is the week after the Bushwhacker this year.
Yes.
But yeah, the night stage. The last time I did a night stage, I think, was the Ulster last year with Hugh as well in his white car. Yeah, it didn't seem to. I can't remember that it seemed to phase him a whole pile. I think he was happy enough. I can see how some fellas wouldn't be first fond of it, especially in the woods. You know, it might be harder to.
It's going to be very dark. There's no.
It might be harder to judge distance and things in the woods. You know, when you don't have like a 3 or 4 foot ditch in front of you that the light is going to stop on. The lights will just continue for forever. So sure, look, it'll be the same for everyone. We'll have to see how it pans out. But just 2 stages into the night, and then 6 the following day. So it'll be similar enough to the length of the Lakeland on the Saturday.
And then on a couple of weeks after that, then the final round of the championship, like it's going to be relentless. Like you have to kind of, if you're driving with the championship in mind, you have to be on the safe side of flat out because it's such a short gap between events.
Yeah, I think it's just the way that there's a couple of rounds from the northern side and a couple of rounds from the southern side, and the fact that they don't really communicate with each other when they're setting out the calendar. Well, they probably do a small bit, I suppose, but it doesn't really interfere with each other as regards the calendar. And then it just happened that the last 5 or 6 weeks, we seem to have 3 forestry events coming together. And because of that, I was supposed to go to the Woodpecker next weekend with McDade. But I had too much on, and we're just back to school as well, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's hard to just pack up on a Friday and head off to Wales for a couple of days.
So thanks very much there to the lads there. The club's been in touch with us there from the Bushwhacker Oman Motor Club, and just to say, and it will still remain open. Anybody that's any thoughts of getting the rally, doing the rally, get your entries in. And for us spectators, we're in for a real treat. The 2 night stages and then full day rally on Saturday. Oh, I can hardly wait now. It's going to be epic, and no doubt we'll talk more about that next week. Connor, you also got a chance to catch up with Wall Creighton ahead of the JWRC finale this weekend.
I did indeed. So WRC Greece this weekend. Lots of drama even before it starts. Like, a couple of weeks ago, we were all thinking, the heat and the issues around, it's a tough event on cars, it's a tough event on crews because of the temperatures and the rough roads. But Storm Daniel has hit Greece quite badly and has already started to impact on the rally.
Yes, it's all still quite fluid as we record this. The shakedown's cancelled tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. You see some of the images coming in. It's hard to imagine how they're going to be able to turn this around, but I suppose the weather can turn so quick. The likes of Greece, it can go from thunderstorms to soaring heat in a very short time.
It can indeed, yeah. Recce has been affected. You mentioned shakedowns cancelled. I think a couple of stages have already been shortened. And you have to remember, Greece only has 15 stages as it is. So, it's not, typically we're used to somewhere between 20 to 24 stages for a WRC event, but this is quite short as it is. So any reductions in stage mileage or cancellation stages really will impact, both the WRC Championship and the JWRC Championship, and this is the final round of the Junior WRC.
Yeah, for sure. And Wall's going into the championship, leading going into the final round. It's not over. It's over. We know all that there, but fingers crossed, toes crossed, eyes crossed, everything. He's such a lovely young fella, and Liam as well too. They're 2 top lads. It would just be fantastic to see them getting through the weekend and claiming the title.
It will. Look, fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed. But we have to remember there's double points on offer. So technically there's 65 points here to which more than covers back to, I think, 5th or 2nd place in the 5th or 6th place in the JWRC Championship. So he's not home and dry by any means. He really has to have a good, solid event.
Yeah, and then the overall, because of the nature of the stages out there, it's not the normal rally. It's it probably will be a survivors rally rather than outright speed that will win the rally.
Absolutely. Well, look, it's typically tough on cars anyway in normal conditions, which is, bedrock and big stones and hard gravel. Like if we look at last year, it was a Hyundai 123. Toyota weren't anywhere to be seen. And yet Toyota, who, previously had taken the top 4 spots in the Safari last year, another traditional car breaker. So, it's one of those events that just can turn a championship on its head nearly.
For sure. But I think without further ado, I think we'll hear from Wall and get his thoughts ahead of the event.
So, William, we're just ahead of the final round of the JWRC in Greece. What's the thoughts and feelings going into it?
Yeah, it's a nice position to be in, Connor. I suppose if you said that at the start of the year that we'd be leading going into the last round, we would have took it. I think it shows how strong our season's been. We've got 2 wins. And I suppose, the 2 rallies that we had the Super Rally in, I think we were leading them at that stage. Well, it's a bit irrelevant now, but I think it shows how strong our pace has been, and I suppose testament to the effort that Liam and the whole team around me that are putting in.
And you're going into the final round with, I think you're 29 points clear of Laurent. Strong position to be in, but there's double points on offer here. So I suppose the championship is still up in the air.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's far from over, and with Greece being so unpredictable, it's hard to know what'll happen. But yeah, I think we're on 90 odd points, and in this event alone, there's 65 available. So it shows you, what still can happen. And then obviously, whenever you take drop scores out of it and everything like that, it's I'm sure it'll be quite close. But yeah, it's I'm happy that the position we're in. We've got a bit of a buffer, so I'm looking forward to it.
And you send the 65 up for grabs, so there's 50 for the win, so it's double the normal 25, and then 15 points for each stage win. So it's probably the lowest number of stages on any of the rounds you've done so far. So is that a good thing, or is that maybe a bit of a hindrance if you need to make up the stage win points?
Yeah, for sure. It's say most of these rallies are around 20 stages, so it's about 5 less. I don't know. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it works against you. I guess the rallies where I had to use Super Rally, it worked in my favor that you could pick up as many points after. But I honestly don't know. It definitely adds a different dynamic, and it has done to the whole season. The stage wins, and obviously it's there to reward the fastest guy throughout the entire year, even if he doesn't necessarily have the most consistent year. But yeah, it's, as I say, sometimes it works for you, sometimes it works against you. Hopefully it'll work for us.
And you have been Mr. Consistent. You've had 34 stage wins to Laurent's 19, so it's nearly double there. So you really have used that to your advantage, or to gain your advantage.
Yeah, I suppose it depends what way you look at it. You're maybe using that more because you've had the Super Rally. But then, at the other hand, yeah, it's fastest stage times, and it shows the pace that we've had this year. So it's definitely a positive. If you compare that to the past couple of years, how many stage wins I got, it's a lot more. So it's definitely positive, and particularly looking back on the likes of Estonia, where the last couple of years I struggled a bit. It wasn't natural for me to go to those wide roads and a lot of corners over crests and jumps. So. And I really enjoyed it this year. I just had a good feeling going into the event, and even aside from the JWRC guys, the locals there, we were able to race them and set some good times. So the confidence is good, in the car, and we're enjoying it. We've been able to prove that we've got good pace on all the surfaces, so got to use that to our advantage.
And you competed on Greece last year. Now, it wasn't around the JWRC, but you did undertake it in the Rally 3 Fiesta. I suppose, what were your expectations going into Greece last year? Was it what you expected, or what was the learnings, or what did you take away?
Yeah, we did. I think Greece was maybe around the juniors last year. So yeah, we did it, and I think everyone says that it's not as rough as it used to be. So I would like to see what it used to be like, but there's quite a different characteristic of stages. Some are really tight, technical, and twisty, and then others are a little bit more open and fast. But generally, the rally is quite slow and twisty. So, and some stages are really, really rough. So it's just trying to pick those ones out, or pick the areas out that say there's less risk compared to others. And I think being there last year, that'll help me in the recce trying to pick out those bits. I suppose the route is quite different to last year, but nevertheless, we have a feeling for the general stages, and it's always nice to go back to somewhere that you're familiar with.
And like big chunky rocks obviously on the stages, but then on the second pass you're down in places into the bedrock, which as we saw with Titanic, cracked the sump guard on the Puma, so you can easily get caught out there. So how rough do those stages get, maybe like for a second pass after the Rally 1 guys have been through them twice before you?
Yeah, I think when you get down to the bedrock, it starts to be really hard in the car. The first pass is also difficult with all the loose rocks, trying to avoid punctures. But whenever you start getting down to the bedrock, it's really hard, and all the components of the suspension, and it's not so nice, and there's quite a lot of big impacts. So and there's not a lot you can do. Some of this bedrock is on a straight line that I think it's as simple that you're gonna have to slow down, and but sometimes you can't see it coming, or it's tricky. So I think it's important just to try and pick out in the recce where you think's going to be the worst, and where you should take more caution, and things like that. But I mean, some of the stages, there's lots of loose rocks that line the side of the road, but sometimes there's a bit of a line that's not too bad. As I say, there's some stages are quite different to the others, and it's just trying to pick which ones that you need to be ultra careful on. But yeah, as everyone says, it's generally really rough, and just trying to pick your way through with staying out of trouble, which sometimes you need a bit of luck.
And on the first run over the stages, are you looking for places where you think it might be worse on the second pass, and you're making changes to your notes, or do you have time for that even?
Yeah, anything that I see that I think's gonna cause bother in the second pass, I'll try and shout it, and Liam's usually pretty good at trying to keep the notes going and get anything that I say. So yeah, I suppose we're doing that in all the events. Maybe here it's even more important just to try and be careful to stay out of issues. But I mean, there's so much that you can't predict, or you can't see coming. With the cars that run in front of you, they can pull out lots of rocks. So it's I guess trying to just expect unexpected, and what might be around the corner.
And look, we've just discussed there, the event is fairly tough in the cars, but there, Greece is also going through a heat wave, so it's tough on the crews as well. What sort of physical preparation are you doing to get yourself prepared for competing in Greece?
It's definitely going to be warm. It was last year, so I think the weather's quite changeable in the long range forecast. It was up to 40 during the recce last time I looked, so fingers crossed it drops a bit. But yeah, just trying to keep up the training, doing quite a lot of cardio. Just trying really to do everything that we can at this stage. But it's we've been through it before. We've done Portugal when it's been really warm. We did Greece last year, and it was warm then. So I think that'll be okay as long as we stay hydrated, and drink plenty during the event, and eat well. So but it's definitely going to be difficult, and hopefully the training will pay off.
And with regard to preparation in for the stages as well, how many of the stages are new this year? Are you able to use your onboards from last year, or how's the preparation going there?
I think there's 3 stages maybe that are the same, and then there's a couple that are reversed, and then a couple of new stages. But I suppose even the stages that we haven't been on, as I said, it's similar terrain, and you know what you're getting yourself into. But I say, a couple of stages are the same, and it's nice, even the ones that are reversed, albeit you've been over them, but just in the other direction. So we'll write fresh notes for the entire rally. That's what I've been doing all year, just with the progression that we've made. So it's, normal prep as, at that side of things.
And, strategy going into the event, like the first day is fairly tough. I think there's only tire fitting, and midday you have no bit service and stuff. So obviously car preservation is a key issue. So do you back off, or what's your thinking, or is it too early to kind of say what the approach is yet?
It's definitely going to be a balance with speed and trying to stay out of trouble. Generally, I think Greece is going to be about staying out of trouble, but you're going to have to show pace at some point during the rally, and hopefully you can stay in the fight until you have to, push. I think Friday is going to be the most difficult. You leave Park Fermé on Thursday to start the rally, and you have a spectator stage, and you don't see the guys at service until Friday night. So you have a tire change in the middle of the day on Friday, but apart from that, if it's trying to look after the car, and any problems that we do have, hopefully it doesn't drop us too much time, and we can work between us to fix any issues on the car. But yeah, fingers crossed. The cars have been very good this year. That hopefully they can stand up to the challenge.
And for those days, like that, where there isn't a midday service, etc., are you carrying extra parts, extra tools in the car, in case you and Liam have to repair something? Or again, is that a balance between the weight of the car and how much that's going to slow you?
Yeah, I think obviously it changes rally by rally, but this is one that will probably carry more parts in the car and just suffer the added weight. So yeah, I don't know exactly what we'll have yet, but there'll definitely be plenty of bits in the car. Maybe put a trailer on if we could, or but no, it's Liam and I have done a bit of work throughout the year to try and work on the mechanic side of things, so that if something does go wrong, we know how to fix it.
And looking, I suppose, where the main challenge is coming from, Laurent Pellier's there second in the table at the moment. But I mean, I suppose you probably can't rule out Diego or Roberto because of the double points.
Yeah, definitely. The double points, brings a lot of people into it. So yeah, I think, we just have to say it all the time, but we have to focus on our own event and try and control what we can do. And if we can have a good performance, then the strategy will be determined by what the other guys are doing. And of course, going into the event, we'll have a plan on what we want to do and how we want to go about it. But I think we'll have to adapt as the rally goes on, depending on how the competitors are doing.
So I suppose the culmination of the year, this is it. This is the last round of the JWRC. You're leading, get into it. Like, it must be very exciting, not only for yourself but also for your sponsors as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's a big team, just behind Liam and I to allow us to be at these events. Obviously, the Motorsport Ireland Rally Academy, couldn't have done this year without them and all their support and all the training that we're doing. PRM, obviously Creighton's my own family business. So, Dad's been to all the rounds, and he'll go to Greece as well. So yeah, all those guys are supporting me, and have done now for a long time. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. Obviously, it's exciting for Liam and I as well. To go into any rally with the opportunity to fight for a championship is exciting. So we'll try and enjoy it, as difficult that might be at times with the pressure. But definitely, I think if we can enjoy it and try and stay as relaxed as possible, that'll hopefully help with the performance.
A huge thanks to Will. Literally, he was getting ready to get on a plane before I spoke to him, when I spoke to him. So huge thanks for taking the time out, and we'll all be glued to WRC Greece for many reasons now, particularly to see what's going to happen to the event. Will it be impacted even further? Just hard to know at this stage. And Kevin, you were chatting with Matt Cotton with regards to the BRC and where that's at, after Rally Cardigan.
Yeah, myself and Matt got a chance to chat. Matt's realistic and knows where the BRC's at and all that there too, and we kind of discussed the ins and outs of that, and how good that Rally Cardigan is. Does it deserve its place? Looks like it's going to be around the ERC next year. It looks spectacular. All the footage we've seen there, online from the weekend, and he raves about the rally. So. And then to see Ocean Price come back, hitting form, Marion having a puncher, still taking second, 29 seconds I think behind. He lost that or thereabouts, with the puncher. So it would have been very interesting to see how that would have fared out. James William taking third, claiming maximum points in the BRC then too. So that keeps the BRC kind of alive as well, going into the next couple of rounds of it as well too. So lots of twists and turns in Cardigan, but if last weekend was something to go by, I think it would be a fascinating addition to the ERC calendar.
I think it'd be fantastic. I was just so impressed with what I saw with online footage and the various photos and stuff. And kind of, if it does make the ERC, I'm definitely making that trip next year because it just looked an incredible. I'm a huge fan of tarmac anyway. I prefer tarmac over loose any day. So I certainly will be on the boat going to Wales.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I think without further ado, we'll hear from Matt. Another enthralling event. James Williams comes away with top points for the championship, and the lead the championship opened up again.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have a new winner on the top of the BRC leaderboard this year. It's I think everybody was thinking it was going to be a clean sweep this season with Adrian, but he's got other commitments. There was no secret that he was going to be busy with WRC and other things going on. So, to be honest, I don't think we expected him here much past sort of round 1, 2, or 3. So, the fact that he came over and he's done quite a few of the events is great for everybody. I know there's two sides of that story on social media. There's there's a lot of debate going on about that at the minute, but nevertheless, it's great to have a factory driver, competing in the UK and Northern Ireland. So, he's dominated this year, but not being in Ceredigion, I think, is a shame, because I think that is arguably our flagship event this year in the UK. They pulled out all the stops and it was a fantastic event, but that doesn't take anything away from James Williams. His result was absolutely fantastic, and he was fighting with Ocean Price, course 2022 British Rally champion, and Mez Evans, your ITRC front runner. So, the pedigree was definitely there. Had he not gone off on the first loop in the morning, I think he could have well come away with a overall rally win. But nevertheless, third place of the rally takes maximum scores. Yeah,
and his first time in the new Hyundai, and it was only a couple of years ago, really, since James was doing the juniors. So he has really he has come on leaps and bounds in a very short time. And as you say, to take that first international, his first outright BRC one, it's probably, is it even fair to say it's maybe even overdue, because he has developed so much in the last couple of years?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he came to the BRC in 2017, I think it was, as part of the junior program. He contested a couple of years in junior BRC and really flourished at that, to be honest. I don't think he had the success that perhaps he deserved, but one round that I remember James really excelled on was when we went to Ypres, and I think that must have been 2019. And he absolutely annihilated everybody in Class RC4, like even the locals. And I remember being at the finish in Ypres town centre, and there's all these Belgians coming over. There's the French and everybody in the sort of front wheel drive category, all coming over, just congratulating him on his pace all weekend. So he really had moments of inspiration in the junior BRC, and then he sort of had a bit of a part program, I guess, over the last couple of years. So it's a real attack for him this year. He's been in the Fiesta the beginning part of the year, and then a shift to the Hyundai in this one. And actually, the reason he went to the Hyundai is because he actually used an i20 Rally 2 on this event last year. He managed to get one from Hyundai, so he had all the setup notes, he had everything sort of in the bag, and he just thought that he felt confident because he felt really good on the rally last year. So he thought he'd get hold of another Hyundai, hired that one from Luxembourg, and as I say, I think he really, really gelled with it straight away. And had he not had that trip into the field like about 80% of everybody else did, to be honest, on SS2, I think he would have definitely been there or thereabouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Gary Pearson taking second, and another strong performance there with Gary at the weekend as well.
Yeah, Mr. Consistent this year, just really plugging away. I think it's easy, very, very easy to sit on the sidelines and say, oh, Gary was quite a way behind James. But Gary's experience isn't really that vast in Rally 2 machinery either. So he is learning everything as he goes. He's learning the tyres. He's learning the car. It's a new car to him this year. New co-driver to a degree. I mean, Dan Barrett is ultra experienced, of course, but we all need to get bedded into people. So his approach is very different from the likes of James's, but look at the results, and he's second in the championship. He's finished every round this year, so bar one. Yeah. So bar the Jim Clark, actually, his home rally. But he's just Mr. Consistent, and ironically comes into the last sort of couple of rounds of the season, and he's the closest challenger to Adrian.
Yeah, and as you say, Gerry is limited knowledge. Only a couple of years ago, he was doing the national BRC, and to step up to the international category, and it has been seamless. It's been such a smooth transition, and it's always great to see guys that have earned their stripes more or less. That's probably where I'm going with that one.
Well, definitely. I mean, he's had his time in front wheel drive machinery as well, and he did junior BRC. Started in a Renault Twingo. Remember them?
Yeah.
Remember that? I mean, like the rally, the R1 cars. That's your proper shopping car.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a handful of those cars. He started in the Twingos, did the junior BRC, bought Peugeot 208 and went to France, sort of honed his tarmac skills over there, because I think he really is a gravel driver at heart. That's he's done a couple of years of the Scottish Rally Championship, which was back then a all gravel championship. So he's sort of honed his skills. He's done his time. He's definitely done his time, and he's a really passionate lad. He really enjoys the BRC. He enjoys, the events that are in it, and he takes it really, really seriously. And it's great to see. And he'll definitely be one to watch. I think I can really see him getting quicker and quicker and quicker as the events come on.
Yeah, and then in the Rally 4, the junior BRC, Kyle White, our local guy again, he had to drive with his head as much as his heart at the weekend there too, because he knows the championship's at stake and he doesn't want to throw it away. And it probably goes against everything Kyle does behind the wheel. He's very much a heart in the sleeve type of guy, isn't he?
I can tell you something now. Sean Topping was driving that car. I swear to you, Sean Topping was driving that car. Because as well as I mean, you can tell by Carl's character, even if you don't know him, if you've seen any of the Stage End live feeds, or if you've seen any of the interviews that we have with him, you can tell by his character, he wants to compete. He wants to push. He doesn't want to drive at 8 tenths. It's 10, 11, 12 tenths all the time. That's how he wants to go. And Sean would have been there at every point, slowing him down, because he wants to get the title under his belt. He's tried long enough. He's another one that's just kept chipping away at trying to get this title. He's done his time as well in front wheel drive machinery, and he's such a likable lad,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a great battle, and on Saturday between him and Johan Lloyd, who's come back to the junior BRC after a bit of time in the Irish Championship. It was really, really nip and tuck. Those two are very, very equal on pace. So that was really interesting to see. But then when it got to Sunday, he obviously had a bit of a sleep overnight and went, look, we've got to think about the championship. It's getting to that point of the year. And it was a sensible move. He got maximum points because Johan isn't scoring, because he doesn't want to get involved in that title fight after coming in halfway through the year. And it's just sensible. And with Kyle McBride going off the road, it leaves him in a really good position. I think, without doing the maths, I'm pretty sure a good result at Track Rod will get him the title there.
Very good, very good. And with 2 rounds to go, the overall title, for Mo, maybe missing the next round, we're just not 100% sure yet. If he doesn't come to the Track Rod, it could really make things very interesting going into the last round. And even if he does come to the Track Rod, we've all seen rallying in the past, it doesn't always go the way of the favourite.
Well, yeah, great point. We're all assuming that if he comes, he's going to win. If you know anything about Dalby Forest, you'll know that it can claim the best drivers in the world. It has done before. There's Ben's named after Hannu Mikkola and things like that. So we know that it's not a foregone conclusion if he does turn up at Track Rod, that he's going to take it away. you know, it'd be lovely to have Adrian's name on the trophy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some greats on the BRC trophy. It just, you know, putting his name alongside them would be absolutely fantastic. I know the social media vitriol about the BRC, the lack of numbers at the moment, but you know what? He damn well deserves it, because every single event he's gone to, he's given everybody a bit of a race. He's proved himself. Not that I guess he has to, but just it's just been really enjoyable to have him along.
Yeah, he's a
really
very likeable chap as well. You know, you know, he doesn't go away and hide in the motorhome. He's out there with the spectators. He mixes with the other drivers, and he seems a real fun character.
He is, and I mean, I've only got to know him this year, and you know, even from a media point of view, there's nothing's too much trouble. He's a really, really nice guy. He's, again, and I've used this about 5 times now, but he has done his time too. Look where he's come from, where he went to, and where he is now. You know, he doesn't take anything for granted. He doesn't take that seat for granted. He doesn't sit there and think, well, I deserve to be here.
Yeah.
He has the mentality that he wants to work at absolutely everything. And he knows that he can't let his foot off the gas in terms of performance, work that he puts in. And you can just tell that it exudes from everything that he does. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Just people should lap it up. You know, when somebody like that comes to a national championship, they should really, really lap it up.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion in a few years' time, I'll be looking back going, I remember, you know, from the new world champion was at the Ulster Rally, and that's my thoughts on it, you know.
All too easy to get to the keyboard and say, well, he should win. Yeah, you know what, he should. But just embrace it. Just get along there. Look at the videos of the guy on Ulster. I don't know whether you saw some of those in the conditions.
Yeah.
That you do not see that every day. That is just another level. And I don't know why we're not all getting together and thinking, well, okay, it might be I don't want to say a one-horse race, but you know, it might, the odds are stacked in his favour. But I'm going to get out there and I'm going to really enjoy watching him do that.
Yeah, because this guy's a little bit special, and you know, as you say, embrace it. And you know, we may not see another of this caliber for another 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, championships have never really been any different. You go back to the BRC 10-15 years ago, and you had Keith Cronin, Jukka Kollinen, and Tom Cave. Those three, they were fighting out the front, and then there was a few other drivers that came on. I mean, there's probably others that I hadn't thought of, but you know, and it's never been any different. There's always 2 or 3 that are just that little bit better, a little bit, you know, further up the field, and then everybody else is just doing their best to try and catch up. It's never been any different. It really hasn't. So yeah, I hope that if he does come back, that everybody gets out into the forests to watch it, because you know, you may not get that chance again.
No, and like, even, you know, even we're here to the Ulster, and like, it was something for our guys to aim for. Like, you know, we seen the clip of Catherine McCourt finishing the stage 0.7 or whatever seconds behind him, you know, and like, you know, Adrian who, you know, like, so you know, so you know, wee things like that. Like, for Catherine McCourt, who's out doing his day's work, you know, to be able to go and compete against the guy that's competing in the World Championship and finish off 0.7 of a second or behind him, like, that's class, isn't it?
Well, you know, forgive me if I'm wrong, but these guys are all out there for betterment. Everybody wants to be better, because we wouldn't do the sport if we didn't want to be better. If we wanted to just stay the same, then, you know, well, what would be the point, to be honest? So to give somebody something to aim for like that, that's got to be a good thing. That, you know, you learn from him. Perhaps the guy behind Adrian will see the lines he's taking. So that's a thought process that some of the guys have. Or and just,
or the co-driver looks and sees, oh, you look at the way he's doing that, I never thought of doing that, and I'll try that, and you know.
Yeah, and by and large, especially at the Ulster Rally, you know, the guys really embraced that. They loved having Adrian there. You know, seeing, I know Callum and Mez were in a race of their own, and that's fine. But I could really tell they were just enjoying the fact that he was there, and And so they blooming well should as well, you know.
For sure. And you're talking about bettering yourself and, you know, always striving for better. Like Ceredigion at the weekend, you know, as you say, it's the flagship probably of the BRC this year. They have, you know, aspirations for the ERC next year. Like, you've seen it firsthand. What's your thoughts on the event? Were they placed in the ERC next year, you think?
It's the Donegal of the UK.
That good.
I was absolutely blown away. Yeah, I've never been that impressed about a rally for a very, very long time. You know, the boxes were ticked multiple times over. I do a lot of rallies a year just by the very nature of what I do. But I have to go back a long time when I can't even remember any sort of real negative comments about an event. They obviously wanted to showcase themselves. So I guess in a way it almost felt like they wanted to do a bit of a trial run. They wanted to say, okay, even if we don't get it, let's just go there and let's just put ourselves in the shop window and say, this is how we can run it. This is what we can do. You know, come and have a look, come and see what it's all about. And let us prove ourselves. And by God, did they do that. Just everything was absolutely on point. You know, 100 miles, 2 days. The stages were insane. Absolutely insane. They were so good, lend themselves so nicely to an international rally. There's plenty of FIA people about, so you know, fingers crossed they've seen it for what it could be, you know.
And the town stage, like, how spectacular did that look? You know, that beaming across the world, you know, the sea, the scenery, the houses, the stone walls, you know, to me it just like, and I'm used to, you know, tarmac in here. To me that just was, oh my God, this is amazing.
It's a postcard for rallying, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's a real scene setter for rallying. If ever you're going to use an image of a rally for a promotional purposes, it's going to be from Rally Ceredigion. The amount of people that were there, you know, the way the locals embraced it, it was fantastic. Okay, it was Mickey Mouse. Okay, you know, the donut at the beginning was a little bit like, oh dear, but you know, you can see the direction they're headed. You can see what they want to do. You know, you can really see 20, 30 R5s or Rally 2 cars blasting around that in 12 months, couldn't you? If that was the case, it would just be amazing. Yeah. Everything from just the branding and the way it was all laid out, everything that was thought of, the big screens in the start and finish ceremonies. It was there's just been nothing like that, Kevin, in the UK for, I'm not exaggerating, probably since Rally GB. There's been nothing like that that I can do.
And like, you know, even, you know, like us bubble hatters, like we kind of look down our nose at, you know, a donut round like a barrel or a roundabout or whatever. But for, you know, we have to remember we're trying to attract people that knows nothing about rally. For somebody that just coming walking in off the street and going, wow, look at that, you know, how spectacular is that? And like, we sometimes forget how exciting our sport is, you know, that we take for granted that we see a car going around the big drift around the corner. I think, yeah, it's class, that's fantastic. But for a randomer to see that, it must be, oh my God.
Yeah, and I think what hasn't done the sport any favours is actually the screens that I'm talking to you on now, because there's something about a digital screen, whether it's on your phone or on here, that just really dilutes, you know, the spectacle of rallying. I don't know how it happens. Maybe it's the way it's shot. I don't know, but it really dilutes it. So I think everybody's always in awe when they go and see something like that. And bearing in mind, these are people from the town that, okay, the benefit of Aberystwyth and the benefit of the local area is that they are quite ingrained with rallying. That's, you know, it's part of their history, it's part of their heritage, which is a huge advantage because we don't really get that often here in the UK. You obviously get it in Ireland a lot, and you can tell that when you visit a rally in Ireland, but you don't really get it too much in the UK. But there it is. So it's almost like there's a respect that they have for it. but then there's no substitute for putting those people in front of an actual rally car, flat out at top speed, doing a donut, bit of tire smoke, that kind of thing. It's really, really important. And I think even all the drivers just took it for what it was. It might have been frustrating, but they really understood that it's necessary, and it's not going to go away. We still need to have that.
Yeah, and your sponsors, like I don't know, say Marian's car, Castrol up the side of it, for Castrol to see tires smoking and thousands of people standing in the background, like it's a perfect shot wonder.
I mean, you could probably, if you were going to try and sell rallying we know rallying sponsorship is hard enough as it is, but if you're going to try and sell numbers to a sponsor, if you're going to talk about a gravel rally in the UK, in all honesty, spectator numbers may not even hit the thousands. That's just cold hard facts. But you get to something like Aberystwyth, you get to Rally Ceredigion, you see the streets. There's probably I don't even want to estimate. There was several thousand people just in that town stage. So absolute a joy to be part of, a privilege to be part of, and the guys and girls of the motor clubs that have arranged it. Absolute tip my hat to them. Sensational rally.
Thanks to Matt, pleasure as always. This weekend then we have Wexford coming up. We covered that last week with Andy Hayes now. But Connor, it's if this weather holds up, it's going to be fantastic. Hot tar, top lineup of crews there as well. And a brilliant top 10 for a rally that's not around of any championship here. And I think it's going to be a great event. 18 stages spread over the 2 days. It's got all the ingredients to be a great event.
Absolutely. Wexford always does. It always pulls a great event out of the bag. Always a good entry. As you say, weather will play a part if it stays nice and dry as it is, and it should be a good fast tarmac event. And we have a really cracking top 10 there as well. And great to see James Stafford out in the Darien #1. And then we have a good selection of machinery, like Daniel Cronin's out in the Polo, Daniel Barry, who we haven't seen in a while, is out in the Fabia R5, Andrew Purcell, Endo O'Brien, Gary Kiernan sitting at #6, excellent. Aidan Ray in at 7 in the Polo, another Polo. We really are coming down with Polos. David Moffat's out in 8, Stuart Darcy in 9, and then Damon Toner wrapping up the top 10.
Yeah, and the quality continues right down throughout the field, and lots of visitors over from Wales and all that too. So, it's going to be a cracking event then as well. It really is, So best of luck to everybody in Wexford the weekend. Also coming up on the 24th of September is the Clare Stages Rally, and I get a chance to catch up with the clerk of the course, Gerry O'Brien. He just wanted to come on for a wee chat. Entries close this Friday. He would encourage anybody if they want to get their entries in. You have a couple of days now before the entries close, but by the sounds of it, it's going to be another epic rally, penultimate round of the Triton Showers National Championship, the Southern Championship, and Gerry will explain all the different championships it's around of. But it has all the ingredients there to be an epic rally. But without further ado, we'll hear from Gerry. Gerry, Clare Rally coming up now in a couple of weeks. It's all systems go, penultimate round of the Triton Showers National Championship, the top part Southern Championship, and the Junior MI Junior Series. So it's going to be an exciting rally.
It's going to be an exciting rally. We have a lot of work done. We have a few bits and pieces to sort out still. Based in Ennis, I'm taking on the role as clerk of the course for my 4th rally. Obviously I've had a 4-year sabbatical with COVID and all that. And a lot of things, as you know, has changed in rallying with trackers and everything since.
Sure.
And even we were only talking about it tonight, 4 years ago when we were organising a rally, we had no air codes.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah. And Clare is one of those motor clubs in rallying terms. It's quite young. You've reformed in the early 80s, was it?
The club was formed in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
We ran our first rally, I'm subject to be questioned on this now, in 1982, I think.
Okay.
Either 81 or 82, we ran our first rally. We ran a couple events back in Kilkee, along by the west coast. We ran in Listonvarna. We ran a few single stage events around the Shannon Industrial Estate. we actually, how things have changed in motorsport. We actually used Donald Griffin in a single seater as a double O in the Shannon Industrial. You wouldn't get away with that today,
No.
though.
And a motor club that's so young, and in rallying terms, that there's obviously going to be a key group of people that has built it up to where it is now.
Yes, we had already launched yesterday, Kevin, and we were just chatting at it. There's been only 7 COCs in Clare for the Clare Stages Rally in Carmack. David Hogan, based in Galway now, used Castle in Galway. David clerked the rally for several years, well able by Dermot Kelleher as assistant and as deputy, and then Dermot took over as COC. I think Dermot might have done it for 10 years in 2 different batches. Jim Casey came on board, did it for 3 years. Christy Carey did it for 3 years. Ger Healy did it for a year, and I'm starting 4th year. And Dermot Sullivan would have done it for 1 year as well.
Brilliant.
So.
Yeah, and the national championship, it's been one of those championships that has remained, always a very constant level. But I nearly think, since COVID, come back from COVID, it's actually rises up a wee bit now in terms of quality and quantity of entries.
Yes, the quality of entry is very good. The quality of entry has really changed from 4 years ago. Yeah. I mean, we had very, very few R5s in the country 4 years ago. You look at the list of R5s that's there now, R2 wasn't there at all. So the quality has really changed. The names have changed drastically. Some amount of new names entered. And, there's huge changes in 4 years. It's hard to believe the changes that's there in 4 years.
Yeah, and it was probably not the most popular choice by motorsport there, a few years ago from the talk bringing in this rotational calendar. But I do think it is working for because clubs are now running rallies with full entries, and a lot of them run with reserve and one thing and all. So I think it's benefiting everybody.
It is, yeah. We were running at a time of the year where we had a 2-day Wexford rally a couple of weeks before us. You had a local rally in Galway at the end of August. We'd be running maybe, I remember one year, one of the Galway stages was within 8 kilometres of one of our stages. And you have a tip in Galway, you didn't come to Clare. You just wouldn't have the time to have it ready. Or the financial backing to have it ready either.
Yeah.
So, and then Cork 20 Youth always run in October, we were kind of the ham sandwich between 2 2-day events.
Yeah.
So we were really pushing for a 2-day, the rotation calendar, trying to get out of where we were, and obviously not easy to get a new date. So we got the rotation calendar, and then we were the second last event of the 2-year calendar. So obviously, as Quint was announced, we were really worried. I wonder, will the appetite be there by the time we come to Clare in September and that? But look we have well over 200 entries, so the 2-year calendar is there. Long may it stay.
For sure. And not only competitors, you're pulling from the same group of marshals, the same group of medical team, rescue team. So it's fair on everybody. It's not just the competitors. It's right across, even the officials as well. It's the same small pool.
Oh, it's the same pool of people the whole time, and we're just not talking about rallying here. You're pulling from the same pool of people for a hill climb, for an autocross, for auto test, timekeepers. They've all you're still pulling from the same pool of people, and you could be gone every weekend of the year if you had the time and the freedom to go.
That's for sure. So Clare coming up now in a couple of weeks' time. Can you give us a brief outline of the event? Where's HQ? Where's the service park? All that kind of thing.
Okay, so the rally is based in Ennis. Okay, we had really struggled for an actual hotel, and I suppose rally Sunday evenings are gone quiet. There mightn't be a huge attraction for hotels there. So with the humanitarian issues in the Ukraine and the amount of people coming into the country and accommodation, that we just could not get a hotel in Ennis to host it. So what we did was we went down the road of the Mat, which is a massive complex on the Quinn Road in Ennis. that is hosting our service area. There's a body shop, a big body shop in the Mart complex, Auto Body, owned by Adrian Howard, and we are using his premises for scrutiny. We have trailer park in the Mart, and we have park farm in the Mart. So once you arrive in the Mart, you can leave the car there for the weekend until you go out and play.
Isn't that fantastic? Everything, there's no, drop the car off here, go to Creighton here, park the trailer
Drop
over
the
there.
trailer.
Yeah, it's all in the one complex.
It's all in the 1 yard. It's all in the 1 yard, which is absolutely fantastic. Then across the road from the Mart, there's the Queen Road Business Park. Lots of businesses in there. Michael Fitzgibbon, who is a very good competitor in the club, an absolutely fantastic club member. Michael Fitzgibbon, he's a building contractor based here in Ennis. His business offices are in the Queen Road Business Park. Michael will be doing the Forestry Championship. He would do quite a few autocrosses, and he would be a very quick guy in the tarmac as well. But his first love would be the Lewis. So Michael gave us his premises from Friday evening until Sunday night. As it's rally office, it is drivers will come there in the morning, Saturday morning, sign on there, get out to the stages, come back, do the scrutiny. If they feel like a nice little walk, it is 200 metres of walk from the service park to Michael Fitzgibbon's office.
Yeah, that is
so
fantastic.
Everything is very simple.
Yeah, and that just typifies the rally community. People calling in, helping out, giving you the premises for the weekend. That just speaks volume for everybody involved in rally. And it's like what you need, when you need it. Let's get it done.
Yes, it is. People don't see the likes of that. They don't see what's going on there in the background. What goes on in the background is absolutely massive, like it is. And those people do deserve a lot of credit for what they do. Like
that's for sure. And Gerry,
without him, we wouldn't have a rally. Like
and Gerry, I suppose you're still looking for volunteers. Anybody that wants to marshal or anything over the weekend, who do they contact?
Right, our chief marshal is Maria O'Donoghue. She lives in Cork. She's a member of Clare Motor Club for a good 2 years. She would do a lot of chief marshal work around the country, especially around the Munster area, and she is our chief marshal for the weekend. She's busily working hard, recruiting marshals and timekeepers and radio officers and all the works that goes with it.
And
Maria's number I can get for you in a minute.
If you want to give out her number, or even just drop a message on probably the Clare Motor Club Facebook page or social media or whatever.
We will indeed, yes.
Yeah,
we'll do that. We'll show up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing. And then as you say, everyone can find it in one area. Once you're there, and the stages are close by as well.
So the stages, there's a little bit of a drive out to the first stage. It's about 24 kilometers out to the first stage, but when you're out there, it's really worth it. Our 3 stages are in the burn, so it's the scenery, the roads are absolutely incredible. My first stage is, I suppose the first 5 kilometers of it will be fairly quick, and then it tightens in, and there's a large number of hairpins towards the finish, a big climb towards the finish of it, and a large number of hairpins. That stage, in the format that I'm running in, I would think it is 2003 or 2004 was the last time that stage was ran in this direction.
Mm-hmm. So I know too many have prior knowledge of that one.
No. So my second stage then is further up in the burn, up near between Ballyvaughan and Kilfenora in that direction. And that stage, Clare Motor Club have never ran it. Mm-hmm. It was always on the bucket list. We have to run this stage, but it was one of those stages. It was very, very hard to get it into the loop, but we walked it this year to get into the loop, and it's an absolute cracker of a stage. I mean, now this is probably one of the best stages in the country.
13.5
kilometers, one chicane. Really, the last time there is video footage of it. The last time it was ran, Saeed El Hadri did it in the Porsche. That's not.
It's not there yesterday.
That's not today nor yesterday.
No,
That's not today nor
86
yesterday.
in it. Yep. So. Yeah.
So the third stage then is another 12.5 kilometer, just one chicane in it, real driving stage. And that stage would be a mixture of all stages that we would have ran before with a new bit inside in the middle.
Wow, brilliant.
And that's near Colourfin.
Excellent, excellent.
So, and into about a 12-kilometer drive back to service then.
I think, and in rallying terms, that's a lovely compact route, and 24 kilometres out, 12 back in. It's all very doable.
It is, and look, it doesn't give guys a chance to settle in the morning and get into the car and see that she's running right, and it's a lot. And listen to competitors talking, they do prefer that than leave service 6 kilometers out to a stage, and then you haven't had time hardly to settle in, the next thing you have to start at the stage. So
It's just nice to settle the nerves and just to make sure everyone's right in the car and everything like that.
Yeah. Have the chat as well.
Yes.
Then the attack.
So, Gerry, the entry's closed this Friday at 6 o'clock. So there's still a chance to get your name on the entry list.
Yeah, we are still taking entries. Get the entries in. We have, I suppose, the top guys we have in. Josh is in, of course. Josh Moffat in the Hyundai. Callum is in. Daisy Henry's in. Just to throw a small bit of interest in between the two guys. Gareth McHale is in. Declan and Michael Byle is in. Cal McCarthy. Keith Lyons. There is, I'm trying to think now, I don't want to forget anybody. Obviously, Kevin Gallagher, Gareth McPhillips, there's 27 or 28 in class 13. So there's a huge entry there. And there's open 20 in the R2s.
Brilliant.
We have a very special entry got in. We got an entry on Thursday last from a guy from South Africa. Max. And I thought it was a bit of a joke when I saw the entry coming in. Max Smart. So he is the FIA African young driver candidate.
Oh, brilliant, yes.
So he has entered in a Peugeot 208 R2 and he's used it as a shakedown, I believe, for some rally in Estonia. From the club perspective, Padraig Egan is in. Now, he usually rallies an escort, class 14 escort, and he has a Subaru acquired lately. He's done a few Forestry events, but the car is blank and there's a bit of a rumour that it might be an R5. And Eddie Doherty has also entered and he has his car blank, and there's a believer that could be an R5 as well. We are hearing rumours, but it's yet to be clarified. So there's a bit of a mystery out there still, so there is.
Yes, well, that all adds to the intrigue, so we'll be watching very closely now in the next couple of weeks and see how them blanks all get filled in. So, Gerry, rallying, is a very expensive sport, and even for a club, making a rally happen, they need sponsors on board to make it all happen.
Yeah, we have an absolutely fantastic sponsor this year. Liam Cleary, he has the Kia dealership in Ennis. Liam has come on board. He has been a clubman, a great supporter of Claremore Club down through the years. Didn't do an awful lot of competing in rallying, but would have been a big hot rod man many, many years ago. And Liam has come on board this year as the main sponsor for the rally. He has his Kia dealership in the Kilrush Road here in Ennis, and we had a fantastic launch of the rally yesterday.
And I've seen the photos. It looks like a spectacular showroom and all he has down there.
Absolutely, a fantastic showroom there. Loads of room, very safe, well off the road. We didn't have to be watching kids or anything. It was a beautiful day for the launch. The weather was really, really backed us up for the weekend. And there's this orange light above the sky there that we're trying to figure out what it is. And we're hoping he'll stay around now for a full month, but that's the sun I'm talking about. And we had a fantastic day, absolutely fantastic day, and a really big thank you to Liam. Without the sponsor, Liam Cleary, and without our state sponsors, we we just physically wouldn't be able to run a rally. Just on behalf of the club there, look at, and I do want to say a big thank you to the members. Motorsport has had a very tough few years with COVID coming in 2020, and in fairness to the club, we did work during COVID. We obviously had to keep our social distancing and all that. We did run. We were very, very lucky to keep the club going, ticking over. We had a fantastic venue in Ballycumber in County Offaly where we used to run loose surface autocrosses. And we were able to keep social distancing in order. We were able to do the work, and we did it. And now it's benefiting the club that we were able to do these autocrosses, keep the young people in the club, keep them a bit interested. Social distancing wasn't easy. We did do it. We kept the spectators away. It was in an isolated venue. We could block the road a couple of miles away from it, let nobody in. And we did run 3 or 4 autocrosses there. And now we have moved away from Ballycumber. We have an absolutely fantastic venue, Kevin, in Dunbeg. Martin Kelly, a club member, built the track about 15 or 16 years ago for testing inside in the bog.
Right.
About 800 meters of a circuit inside in the bog. Instead of testing a car outside in the road, and people came there to do a test. The late, great Craig Breen even came there as a shakedown for our Clare Stages many, many years ago in a Super 1600 Fiesta, came and used the track to set up the car. And we have now, Martin and his son Eric Honan have now converted that track to a loose surface, semi-tar, semi-loose, and we use it for 3 autocrosses a year. And you know, those events, we mustn't forget those events, Kevin. That's the grassroots.
Yeah.
And we have to keep our young people in the sport. And, you know, to do an autocross there, and I would encourage any young people starting off €125 entry fee, €75 for juniors, and you have a great day out before you hit into the rally.
Yeah, because look at young Jack Brennan, Junior 1000 champion, autocross champion.
Yeah.
Went over to the BRC there at the weekend, had a fantastic result, and he has been getting some great results all year in the national championship as well.
That's it, Jack. And Jack was a very regular competitor in our autocrosses, you know, and won quite a few of them over, you know. And we even gave Jack dispensation there during COVID because the rules in motorsport, you had to be 18 years to drive a buggy. And we got Jack dispensation to drive the buggy at 17 because he was using it for the the cross car championship in Europe. And, you know, and that worked for him, like, and I would encourage it. Like, at the moment, you can compete in an autocross at 13 years of age in a J1000. I mean, it's a great stepping stone before you go into the loose.
Yeah, for sure. And as you say, very affordable as well for any young person starting.
And affordable. Yeah, it is indeed, yeah. And I would encourage clubs up and down the country, you know, there is venues out there, they should have a look again and see, you know, because the age profile is getting older in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we do need these young people coming on board. And if they come on board, look at, I have them in our own club, they have come on board and they're not doing rallies and they're acting as stage commanders and marshals and doing this, that and the other for me for the rally, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's great to get the young blood. And as you say, once they're in, they're in.
Once they're in, they're hooked. You know, that's the main, you know, that's good, like, you know.
That's for sure.
There's a couple of ladies. Sinead Kenny is based in Singapore. She's looking after our Facebook and our Instagram sites.
Brilliant.
And she was on to me Saturday looking for some bit of information. And she was at Singapore airport, jumping on the flight to Brisbane. And she took me, when I'm in Brisbane, I'll put it up. And it was up in a couple of hours.
Jeez, brilliant.
So, and you know, it's just fantastic. Margaret McCluskey is our event secretary. I mean, Margaret is doing Trojan Walk, and she's with. She has Lauren O'Keefe as our entry secretary, and they're doing absolutely Trojan Walk. And there's a team of ladies, for the rally office on the Saturday, and you couldn't get sounder. And the one thing we have in the club, and it's very, very important, our competitor is our customer.
Yes.
And that's very, very important. You have to treat your competitor as a customer.
So best of luck to Gerry and all his team down there in Clare in a couple of weeks' time. You know, also this weekend we have in Belgium is the Escort Rally Special, a whole raft of Irish crews over there competing, Connor. And we're not even going to start naming names because no doubt we'll forget somebody and annoy somebody. But you know, a few names there from whenever we were younger. You know, Mark Duez and Bruno Theory taking part as well too. So that'll be fascinating to see. Like that event has only been going, only a short number of years, 4 or 5 years, and every year it's getting better and better. It looks like a cracking event.
It does, like a really strong entry. I'm looking forward to catching up on social media, any video clips over the weekend, because hard to beat a Mark II drifting down the road, or getting a bit lively on the stages.
For sure. And Frank Kelly, if you're listening, and if they're on that jump again, it's definitely not flat. So, so that is season 2, episode 27. Can you please like, share, rate, subscribe, all those things? And if you already haven't watched or listened to the Vincent Bonner show, it's on there as well too. Well worth a listen. Even if we do say so ourselves. But that is it. So until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.